Carl and Brendan here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it is, of course, track by track, as we're doing a debut in the track by track, as they often all are, but we are getting to that point now where stuff is going to start cropping up. But this is the first Converge album we're looking at, the Jane Doe album, the fourth studio album by the American metalcore band, released on September 4th, 2021. By Equal Vision Records. It was the band's first album to feature bassist Nate Newton and drummer Ben Collier, and the last to feature guitarist Adam Dalbeck. Thought this was quite interesting. Although Jane Doe did not chart, it was a commercial breakthrough for the band and received immediate acclaim, with critics praising its poetic lyrics, dynamics, ferocity, and production. It has since been listed as one of the greatest albums of the metalcore genre by various publications and has developed a cult following, with the cover art becoming an icon of the band. Yeah. So while not too hot at the time, this has grown in infamy, basically, to be a Converge classic.
Yeah. I guess we'll get to our opinion of it.
Before that, much dealing with Converge up to this point?
Nah, not really. I was quite surprised when I like reading up on it a little bit, and it being a 2001 album, but you know, being like a metalcore album, because I just don't really, I mean, obviously it may have still been around, but I don't really like put metalcore in that era. No. It's like still kind of new metal, kind of coming out of new metal era, really. Actually, it's not even coming out of it. It's still probably pretty much in its heyday around 2001.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe the last couple of because the last sort of major albums were released around 2000, 2001, 2002.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like a lot of the stuff around that time, I know the band's name, and I also know the Jane Doe, like, name of that it was an album and that's a song, so it's like famous to me in that sense. But I don't think I've ever listened to this, and having listened to it for the track by track, I still stand by that, because I think if I had listened to it, I would remember it. Yep.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same, really. Converge has not really come across, not really spent much time with them. I know songs here and there and stuff like that, but this track by track was prompted by the fact that the band is going to be at Damnation Festival 2022, and I was kind of like, well, let me get some homework in ahead of that festival. Okay, are you ready?
Yep, go for it.
Concubine is the opening track, and for me it's a perfect welcome. The chaos is right at the forefront, and in 79 seconds I think Converge let you know that things are about to get quite messy.
Yeah, I think you might find this quite a bit in mine, but I think I started off by just writing, what the fuck is going on? I think firstly it sounds terribly dated, and while I appreciate the manic nature of it, musically, to me, it just feels all over the place, with no beat or rhythm available to get into, and vocals that are passionate, heavy, but a complete mess. It's probably by design, but whether accidental or on purpose, a mess is still a mess. It's weird. I think I hate it. I might like it, but I probably hate it, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just a bit shell-shocked, and I don't think I get it.
Oh, great start. Yep, straight in. I mean, that's the thing. That's your opening gamut. That's the thing that sets it up. It's like, okay, now what? And that is Fault and Fracture, a continuation of the technical wildness and chaotic arrangements. Converge are on blistering form, and this is a track that is all about swinging fists and circle pit mayhem. It's not easy to headbang to this sort of track, as the rhythm is so chaotic, but the shifts are incredible. I really like this one.
I preferred it to the opener.
Cool.
Felt like the intro I could get into, but it's got quite a lot of technical stuff going on, some really weird directions, and it has like the opener, it's not always like easy to kind of catch a beat and follow a rhythm.
True.
You know, I did find it more enjoyable than the opener because it's just a little bit less chaotic, not by much, but a little bit. I'm not 100% on board with the vocals. The chorus bringing in a deeper backing tone is welcome. That sort of switches that up a bit. So I prefer it to the opener, but I'm not quite getting the appeal yet.
Still plenty to change your mind. Distance and meaning. The sharp and piercing style of guitar, the less than subtle effects, and eventual introduction of more guitars makes this a manic listen. That's the word that comes to mind when listening to a track like this, manic. It is a fascinating wall of noise, that has more stability than you might actually think, but you just kind of need to dig in a bit. This one, I think.
Yeah, so this one worked okay for me.
Ah,
You know, I liked it, but like not always, but like musically I liked it. I thought the guitars are really, really odd, like really weird, but also quite cool. Vocally though, just not feeling the clean stuff at all. And I found that up to this point, the production on these tracks, probably done purposely, maybe to give the songs a raw edge.
yeah.
But it just fucking sucks. I was like, this fucking sucks, man. It's like this is like you know, a 17-year-old traditional black metal band recording like in a cave somewhere sort of level of shit. But like, you know, in this song, I think musically, well, you know, away from the kind of clean vocals, the heavier vocals in this one, I kind of got a bit more, and musically I enjoyed it. So it was the best of the opening bunch for me.
Really? Okay. For me, the worst. See if that continues then. Hell to Pay. A touch of melody, cold and distant, leads to a methodical, heavier bass rhythm. Here we get cleaner, almost psychedelic vocals and a more subdued guitar performance, at least until the 1 minute and 20-second mark, when we then get a headache-inducing uptick before we go back to the slower tempo and back again with even more gnashing intensity at the end. I love this one.
Love's a strong word across this whole for me. I enjoyed the fact that it had a different start to anything that had happened so far. The gentle intro, I wasn't expecting it after everything that had happened up to this point. So that was a nice surprise, and the change of pace helps the album, helps me anyway with the album at this point. The only problem with it is that because it's a bit more gentle, it means that the guitars and the oddities and the tones and the squeals and all the shit they're doing is way more prominent than it is when it's covered in a layer of fuzz and bollocks. You know, so now I can hear it all, and it's terrible. I don't like it. You know, it has like when it picks up and the aggression picks up and that, it has some meat to it, and I enjoy it. But this time I'm struggling. I'm all right with the vocals, but I'm struggling with the guitars now. So I found by this point, I wrote down that so far this is like a hell of a lot of interesting ideas, but nothing is translating into listenable songs for me yet.
Oh, wow. Fascinating. I wasn't too sure when I chose this one exactly how it would go down, because I think we've both got different kind of feels in these sort of bands where it's that kind of super technical, raw kind of thing, Dillinger Escape Plan and stuff like that. That's what I kind of put Converge in this. Because for me, yeah, see, I'm a big fan of Dillinger. So yeah. But that's why for me, even the description of metalcore for Converge is odd, because I'm kind of like, they're a bit more than that. But anyway, Homewrecker. No melody in this one. It's just a blast of fury that exudes energy and features some pretty strong riffing. The chaos is settled and ordered, making this one of the easier tracks to digest, I think. Those brief blasts of drum soloing are particularly cool.
Yeah, and I like this one too. This was, I started off with saying this is better. Solid riffs and drums, heavy vocals, but all elements are fitted together instead of just chucked into a blender. A proper headbanger, and it surprised me because I wasn't holding out much hope for any treats based on the album so far, but I like this track, and I think I like it because it's simpler.
Yeah, I think you need tracks like this occasionally where you can at least kind of go, okay, I get this, I'm following along with it, because particularly then you get a track that like the one that follows, The Broken Vow, which is a little over 2 minutes. Converge packed this track. Usual wild antics to tonal shifts that feature clean singing to technical mastery. This, for me, was an amazing listen, even though it is pure noise.
Yeah, and again, weirdly, I like this one too. I did start off by going, oh, fucking hell, here we go. You know, it is still at times very hard to follow. Like, you know, I think that's just something that by this point I've come to just accept. That was how it's going to be in a lot of this album. I like the clean vocals on this one. It works. Adds an exciting structural element to the song. I like the faded screaming in the background. You know, as a track, it's completely fucking nuts, but in a good way this time, with some excellent drumming in particular.
Sweet. Bitter and then some. Even shorter here, 1 minute, 28 seconds. There's no time for messing around here, so Converge basically don't. Instead, treating us to a more death-infused track. It's fast, it's frantic, it's enjoyable for me.
Yeah, I started off with saying it's just getting a bit hard to distinguish some of these tracks from others.
True.
Because it's just blended chaos. It could be any one of the songs at the beginning, really. I don't mind this one. Some of the riffing is pretty cool. Just don't really find anything too much to get excited about. it's just kind of passed me by with a bit of oh, look, there's Converge being all shouty again.
Yeah. It's so quick. It's so fast and so quick. It's over before you even know it.
Yeah.
Heaven in Her Arms. Straight into this one, and there's no let up. We get choppy guitars with riffs as sharp as razor blades. Drumming that can only be described as exhausting. Bass that makes your eardrums feel like they're about to explode, and vocals that are at their most screeching. Being over 4 minutes long, Converge take a little bit more time with this one and subtly change things as it goes on, all while keeping it utterly insane, eventually leading to a filthy drop in tempo.
And that's another one I like as well. So, you know, okay. I'm finding someone here. You know, lots of cool bass lines and drum patterns. Still don't really have a clue what's going on, but I like it. And I was kind of like sort of thinking out loud, really, and just trying to figure out why some of these tracks are clicking and some aren't. And I couldn't understand like it at all. You know, I even went back and listened to the first ones again to see if now I understood a bit more about Converge, whether I'd get them, but I still hate them. But this one's great. Speed and fury of the vocals with the riffs impressive. I love the end as well. I actually thought while I was just sitting there probably at work, it was just playing beside me, and I thought it switched to the next song, but it had just switched to like a kind of groovy section where you can kind of headbang and catch your breath. So yeah, very, very enjoyable.
It's strange, isn't it, that some are clicking but some aren't, considering there isn't that massive amount of difference between each style. Phoenix in Flight. It's the previous track's tempo shifts that bring us into this one, so you get a transition. The fuzzy feedback-laden instruments and haunting vocal style makes a nice change of pace. The slow cleanup of the rhythm is very cool, and this has some of the most imaginative riffing for me.
I like the fact that it was a bit different to a lot of the other albums, but yeah, you know, it's weird as fuck, man. Like really weird shit. The intro in particular, but also the kind of proggy vocals, which aren't bad, but you know, that's a song. It just, for me, it just meandered and it just went downhill, and by the end of it, I just thought it was a complete fucking mess.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Phoenix and Flames, 42 seconds of absolute carnage. Vocals and drums, simply put, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck indeed. Speaking about odd songs, what the fuck is going on here? I kind of get it's like an ending to the previous song, but still weird. Weird doesn't do it justice, and while the vocal part is really, really cool, the whole thing is just fucking weird. It's not music.
It is. It's one I agree with you in that, where I'm kind of like, this really wasn't needed. Penultimate track, Thor. This doesn't change anything. It is impossibly technical sounding bedlam, where ear-piercing guitars are suddenly swapped out for a dirtier, meatier groove before the maniacs remember that it's like they forget and go, oh yeah, we're anarchy in musical form. Go back to doing that. Even at this stage of the album, for me personally, the penultimate track, I found it still very appealing.
Yeah, and I was completely fucking baffled by this point. My whole mind was just like fucking completely thrown. I didn't know what was going on. And I mean, what I actually wrote was like cool guitar work, some mental scream and immense rhythm, all blended together in a monster of a song. I like this one, I think. And then I think I left for a bit while I was listening to more, and then I wrote, oh, now I'm not sure. I like it sometimes, I hate it sometimes, then I love it. Oh, now I hate it again. Oh, I just don't fucking know. And just left it there. So,
you must have been filled with dread then when you saw the length of the last track.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the title track, the final track, and it's 11 minutes and 34 seconds. And even me, who's enjoyed a lot of this album, found that a frightening prospect. Because I expected it to be like 8 minutes of just time wasting and then like a short 2 to 3 minute blast. But that's not quite the case. They do make every second count, from slow, crunchy, doom-infused heaviness to death-infused speed to powerful melodies and clean singing to wild metalcore and shockingly progressive hits. It's a methodical listen that feels dangerous but has a comforting Converge quality to it.
I mean, I think I remember like my first thought, especially because the rest of this album being like Nothing's Anywhere, like kind of threatens being 11 minutes long,
No.
you know. So I just assumed with this kind of era, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like 3-4 minutes, and then there'll be a bonus track.
Yeah.
And then like even that didn't happen. But I wasn't happy about either situation because I didn't want another track as a bonus track. I was like, if the last one's 3 or 4 minutes long, just leave it there because don't make me listen to one more. Or also don't be fucking 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did start off by being a bit childish and just writing about how unfair this is. But strangely with this song, right, I actually like this song. I like the structure at the beginning section. It's more familiar to me with my simple little mind. It's got a punchy verse, neat riffs, a catchy chorus. Cleans are good and it balances off the aggression in the verse vocal well. But at that point, I remember thinking, right, how long's left? And there were 9 minutes left. I was like, oh fuck, man. You know, I was like, I was done. I was like, yeah, that's a good song, banging. And I was like, it must be nearly over. 9 minutes left, 2 minutes in. And you know, I like a lot of it though. The problem is just the length. You know, even all the way through to the end, I was still enjoying it. And then I'd look at the time again and see there's still another 5 minutes. And I don't see how they're going to stretch this out. But they do stretch it out, and they keep stretching it out. And while it's fine and enjoyable to listen to musically, it's just way too fucking long, man. It didn't need to be 11 minutes.
True. It is. It's drawn out. It's unnecessary. I agree with you on that. It's one of those where by the end I was still enjoying it. So I was kind of like, it's cool. And I was more fascinated to see what they were going to do. But of my top 3, it didn't make the top 3.
Same.
Talking of which then, go on. What's your 3? I think we might be quite different here.
I've got The Broken Vow, Homewrecker, and Heaven in Her Arms.
Yeah, I figured when you said about Broken Vow that would be one we did match up, and I have Broken Vow as well, but I also have Phoenix in Flight, a track you really didn't like, and Hell to Pay.
What?
Until
insanity. Do you know the thing that I kept thinking through listening to this, and I know it's a different time and a different era, and that's why it might be different. The album and that this reminds me of the most,
go on,
musically, in the way that it kind of plays out, is Suicide Silence's self-titled Suicide Silence, when they changed the frontman recently and went from that kind of deathcore thing to this chaotic weirdness,
right?
Which is quite recent, and that album got absolutely slammed by everybody.
Yep.
And that's what I kept hearing when I was listening to this, like 20 years earlier, you know, but it was that raw stuff. The production sounded shit. There's no sense to what's going on, you know, screams and shit in the background that you don't even know what you're screaming about, and that's what I felt it sounded like musically. And then everyone hated that. Well, but maybe it'll grow on people. Maybe in 20 years' time they'll be going like, oh, you know, eventually it became a critical success. Or
yeah, that's what I'm saying. 20 years' time, we'd have been doing a track by track for it and lauding over how people love it now.
Yeah.
It is Converge. They are an acquired taste. That much is clear even from Jane Doe. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to another album anytime soon, but I am intrigued now more to see them live at Damnation, because I'm like, okay, let's see this shit. Let me see this shit live, right?
I'm going to throw vegetables at them.
Converge's Jane Doe. What do you think? You got an opinion? Drop it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?